We're playing these shows to people that don't speak the same language as you, and yet they're absolutely destroying venues. They're singing along in these weird accents, screaming these lyrics that I'd written in my little room back in Australia.
Turnouts became bigger, the band became bigger, and transportation became bigger. They started going out in buses.
That was good.
Shows in Europe had got to the point where it was almost as good as playing at home.
You'll sort of often read about how pop band is sort of doing so well in Australia, but yet they go overseas and they make a big deal of doing one show in LA or doing one show in London. And, you know, I've got a band sort of doing 2,000 people in London. Why does no one pay any attention to that?
This band's just fucking toured the last 4 or 5 years hard, just kept going back and back, and that's how you do it. Like, you just got to keep playing shows, get your name out there, tour, and they've done it.
You know, they didn't need to be played on commercial radio. They didn't need MTV to be playing them. They did it on their own. They did it through absolute hard work.
Fuck, that's as good as it gets, because you can sit back at the end of the day, realise where you got to was because of yourself, and no one else is to fucking, like, take the credit away from the band.
We never expected any of this. We never asked for any of this. And yet, we find ourselves in a position where we've seen so much more of this planet than most other people in the world.
Well, I've always wanted to travel, and being able to do it with this band, it's just a dream come true.
Friend of Brad?
Brad's friend, we're in Budapest.
Yeah.
I get to hang with, you know, some of my best mates and get paid for it at the same time. For me, that's basically as good as it gets.
They come to Europe, actually want to see things, want to learn something about the culture, want to travel, want to go to crazy places.
It's almost like, you know, the band is almost a vehicle for them to see the rest of the world.
Oh, you're a fucking legend.
One day you'll be like in a castle in the snow, then the next night you'll be sleeping in a shipwreck on the beach.
Fellas, this is the pinnacle of touring thus far.
It just gives you the opportunity, apart from playing to thousands of kids all over the world and then being stoked on your music, to be able to tour the world and experience it and see all this crazy shit you might not have even seen.
Give me the strength to return. pussy? Smelly. Pussy. Smelly pussy.
Day one, Sweatfest tour. We're loading in for the first show of the tour, and this is how we're getting here. The last Australian tour we did was called Sweatfest.
It's the biggest tour, again, that we've done to date in Australia.
First show we played was in Brisbane. We had to play this giant place called the River Stage, which is basically a hill.
For us to headline a show there was kind of surreal.
3,500 people ended up rocking up at that show.
A festival-style show with barriers, 50 security guards, and a massive sea of people on this hill. And I was just like, this is just ridiculous.
Sing-alongs that night were deafening.
For a band that gets no radio play, no management, like company pushing them or whatever, it's just unbelievable.
It blows my mind that just a hardcore band can do that.
When did this happen? When did like 3,000 extra people start coming to their shows?
The first show of a tour, you can't ask for a crazier way to start.
Adelaide as well. Adelaide was a funny one. We'd missed our flight and it was looking like we weren't going to make it.
And every band other than us didn't get to play the show, and we ended up getting to the show 1.5 hours after we were supposed to play, rolling straight out of the airport into a van, straight onto the stage, and playing a set to 2,500 kids or something like that. The size of the crowds coming out to the shows was just insane. It just took touring in Australia to a whole nother level. One day of running a head cam.
And the idea comes from surfers who have head cams when they're sitting in the barrel and shit like that.
I wore the head cam, Luke wore it, Winston wore it, we got it on a security guard.
And gave it to our mate Haz to do whatever he wanted with, basically.